Hi, Barbara Milano here. I'm going to be doing a live demo of these flowers over here. I picked them from my garden this morning and I think they're pretty lovely. I have new paint that I want to experiment with, so this will be kind of a new experiment for me. These are the colors in that palette. These are Charvan. I'm not sure how to say that because I don't speak French, but I'll tell you the names of the colors. It was in a set, an intense color set. And these are their fine oils. Lemon Intense Yellow, Anise, Diamond Orange, Julia Pink, Intense Pink, Absinthe Green, Emerald Green, Ultramarine Blue, and Cerulean Blue. And I will be using white. I don't use black. And this is a gray that I mixed using all of these colors. So there you have it. This is an old panel I had. It was a failed painting, which I have many of. And this is a 12 by 12 square, and I'm using this looks like it might be a Richardson. And then I would have put some gesso on it, sealed it and put gesso on it. And that's what I'm using. I like to do these. I like the texture on those. They're just enough tooth. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and get started. And what I like to do is, even though there's stuff on here, I like to scribble. I find it helps me loosen up a little. Totally nothing. This is especially useful if I have a blank canvas. But anyway, you never know. Some of those marks may stay in the final piece. And let's see. Because this is darker on the bottom, I might flip it up this way so that it's a little bit lighter on the top. And, you know, I've already got the dark on the bottom. You're looking at this in reverse, by the way. So I should be wise to say that. So my dark is over here. I guess you are seeing the same thing I am seeing. Okay, good. Okay, so with that said, I'm going to go ahead and get started. Let's see. So I like to start with a little sketch, and it's not a very exacting sketch. This happens to be an orange. This is what is this? This orange, I'm trying to remember. I don't think this is a Charvan. I think this is a Gamblin Radiant Orange that I'm scribbling with. So I'm just going to do a light sketch. Just kind of get a feel for where I want to put this. It's not like I'm married to it. It's very gestural. Trying to figure out my scheme. Early on, I'm going to figure out what my focal point is. And I want to speak to that. All right, kind of liking that. Now, I don't really have this on a table. I have it on an old panel here, so we're going to give it a table. And my light source is coming from the top, and I also have a light source coming in this way. So my shadow is going to be kind of like this. Put a plane there. How's that? All right. How far do we want that to come down? All right. That's about all I do for my sketch. I don't think you can really see very much of it, but it's just, it's pretty rough anyway. So now I'm going to go in with my dark. I'm going to use this ultramarine blue. This is a nice, rich ultramarine blue, and these are very saturated colors. I really like the saturation level in these. And I'm going to use this diamond orange, which when you put these together, you're going to get this really nice, dark, rich brown there. I love color charts. I can't even tell you how much I get out of doing color charts. First of all, they're just really relaxing because I don't have to really think about it. I'm just mixing colors. And so there's that element of it. But as I was putting these colors out and learning about my new palette, I got really excited. I'm just such a paint color geek. And that was really fun for me. So, you know, each to their own. It's how I like to spend my Saturday afternoon. So I'm just going to put in these dark areas first. I normally use, this is going to be a little different from my go-to palette, which is usually cobalt blue. So this is right at the get-go, this is going to be a little different, but there's not a really huge difference between cobalt and ultramarine, really. See, my water line is right about there. Okay, and I mass, that is my method. So I've got a nice thick, heavy mass right here. So I'm gonna get those darks going. I like to get my darks established first. And by squinting, it really pulls that down. It knocks everything down to its elements. Let's see, I need more. What do I need more of? Paint. And I do work, you know, I like to get my darks in kind of thick, or thin rather. And then I'll build out. So there's a dark area over here toward the back. Some dark notes. See a dark note right there. And there's underneath this cluster. Dark there. Okay. And I'm going to adjust this a little bit because what you see is that black, but what I see is everything behind on the other side of that. So I'm going to put up another board just to get all of this distraction out of my view. It's just a plain piece of cardboard. Should work, should get the job done. Might actually reverse those. Let's see. Yeah. Let's see. That might be better. Let's see. Oh, definitely. It's way better for me. I don't know how it is for you. For you, it makes like a corner. It actually isn't a corner there. I think it's just the way the camera is picking that up. But I do like that it is dark back there. So I'm going to play with that a little bit. Now, what's behind it is a little bit more cool. This color palette doesn't have a red in it, but it has this really awesome pink up here. It's called Intense Pink I'm going to squeeze some of that out. And if I look at my color chart, and I look at my pink and blue, I'm going to get this beautiful lavender, but I want it to be a little bit more dark than that. So I'm going to really punch that blue, a little less of the pink. I think that'll make a really nice, background. So let's see. Whoa, everybody just went. I didn't go far enough. All right, there's a little orange got mixed up in there. That's okay. Won't bother me at all. Alrighty, I'm going to use this little spatula because it's expeditious. And I like value-wise that it's actually a little bit lighter. I think that's going to be kind of cool too. I can always adjust that later. I got really excited when I saw these online. I immediately bought them. I don't usually do that. I've been pretty much working with a traditional 2 red, 2 blue, 2 yellow palette for like years. So this was kind of fun. And I had bought some Gamblin Radiance, which, oh man, I like those a lot. So that, I think that's what got me started on this whole buying new paint kit and trying new paint. It's kind of fun to try new things, you know? I like the word move back there. I'm not very happy with that. Oh, I think I'll adjust that. There, that should keep it. That should keep it steady. So mine is in the reverse of what you're seeing. I'm seeing the black to the white side, and you know, you are getting kind of a reverse orientation to what I'm seeing over there. I'm going to lighten this value a little bit. One of the things that really impressed me about this particular palette was what pretty grays it makes. I'm really excited about these grays. So I'll go ahead and lighten that here, because it is lighter on this side. Notice I'm not too fussy about covering every last detail. And that's very intentional. Again, I kind of like, sometimes I like to see what's underneath if I'm using a used panel. This just kind of blends it over a little bit. Alright, so you get the feel of what's underneath. I should probably make a decision about, I'm going to mix a value here for my shadow, even though, like I said, I didn't put a flat surface in, which, you know, most people when they set up a still life, that's what they do. I'm basically doing this to test out the colors. So my goals here are that. So it could be a little bit darker. I'm mixing the orange in here. Orange, white, and this is also has that pink in it, of course, because that was there. I find that using these spatulas are great because they do two things. One is that they put the paint on really fast, and I'm not spending all my time applying paint, and number two is they really keep you nice and loose, so you don't spend all your time fussing. I'm mixing a gray here. I just added white to this. So now what I have to remember is that if I'm going to put this color in my foreground, I must also put that inside my container. And my container is like an amber color. I don't know whether that really picks up on there at all. But it is amber. Do I like the amber? I'm not sure. Do I want to keep the amber? Not sure. Okay, this I'm just squeezing out the pink and the blue again. And I had a little bit of that white already in my surface. Sometimes when I'm painting, I can't speak. I guess it's different sides of the brain that you're using. Somebody told me that. I'm a psychologist. Okay. All right, so I can see my some stems inside here, and it is a little dark in there. So let's see, we'll go back with this dark. So just back to the orange and blue. We can get that. So let's see, there's some dark here, right at the water line. There's some dark here. So again, I have this black background that I don't have here. So I'm going to have to fudge that a little bit by, but there is the orange in it. So let's see what we can work out here. It is lighter on this side also. So I'm going to leave that orange line there. That kind of works. There's kind of a triangle shape here. It helps me if I can think about these in terms of shapes rather than I'm looking at negative space. We're negative space right now. Positive space. There's also in there, and I don't want to forget it, I think it's coming from the blue surface underneath. I don't think you would be able to see it, but I think it's from that panel that it's sitting on. There's just a little bit of blue light getting caught like right in here. So I'm going to put that color note there. And it's pretty intense. There we go. So I've got some darks and lights here. I'm going to go ahead and put the darks in, and I will eke out the lights underneath. Again, I'm working with this bigger tool. You could use a bigger brush. I just like this one. I use this a lot for cold wax. Okay, so now I want to get this kind of earthy color in here. So I'm going to take this anise and what is this? Anise and orange. So where is my anise? Whenever I have a new palette, which is very rare, it's definitely helpful to have my color chart right there with me, right at my side. That way I know what I'm doing. Okay. Also, I want to point out that other than my background and my gray in the foreground, I haven't used white. And I think that's an important thing if you want to get nice, strong colors. And you want to make a nice, you don't want to get mud, then it really, really helps a lot if you're using less white. You can see kind of pulling in some of that. These colors are just so lovely. You know, and yeah, you can mix them, but I'm of the ilk that if you paint faster, you paint looser. And if you paint looser, you're going to have a better painting. At least that's been my experience. So that's just my opinion. I could be wrong. It's tempting. I have this radiant orange on my palette here from another project, but you know, I'm just putting a little white in this, and it's very close to that radiant orange. Now, it is cooler, which is, I think, okay for what I want, than that radiant orange, which is quite warm in comparison. I'm just going to put this right here. There's like a little bit of light right there. And at this point, I'm just putting in color notes. I'm not thinking about edges or anything like that. Being a plein air painter, you know, we kind of have to work fast and pretty decisively. And so using this kind of an approach is really kind of a great way. And it's how I learned. Glad I learned this method. That's another method, I guess. And there's many methods to learning how to paint as there are to approaching mathematics or just about anything else. All right, so I think I'm going to get off of that for right now and go into my flowers. So I'm looking at this green here, and I'm kind of liking this green, which this green was a combination of cerulean and ultramarine. A little more ultramarine out there. Now I'll put out some cerulean. No, that's not right. It was ultramarine and the green. Blue-green. It was this one, emerald green. So I'm going to mix in emerald green, and which is crazy because it doesn't look like it's going to work. But when you see it, it's definitely going to work. All right, so let's put that over here. No, I'm not. No, it was emerald green and blue. Huh. Put some orange in it. That's way too light. Might have been the red that I put in there. All right. Anyway, I like this color. And it had some of that green in there too. It's giving me a really nice luscious green. And it's definitely a different value than what I had there. So I'm going to go to my next value. Let's see, I can put some there. Again, I use these tools because they're faster. Not for any other particular reason. Alright, this definitely needs to be warmed up. Here, so. This is just taking some of that anise. If I'm saying it wrong, friends, I am so sorry. I don't know French, even though my name is French. I married it. I have no idea past that how it works. Okay. Adding more orange. I think for me, my experience has been that, maybe it's because I live in the desert, but I find that orange and blue will often make the prettiest greens. They're more natural looking. And now I'm going to add a little bit of this lemon intense yellow to that mixture. is extremely cool. I can get the cap back on. There we go. And I'm going to go right into that mixture I already had. The temptation is to pull out the white to lighten things up. And we aren't going to do that because we know that that's usually a bad choice. If you want to get rid of the mud, get rid of the white. So I'm just putting in these green notes. I'm not worried at all about, again, the shapes of things. I could care less right now. I'm just putting in colors. And what I like about this is it does give it a more, when you paint like this, it gives it a more abstract feel, which is lovely too. You get an idea of the shapes, why you're doing it. So this is already mixed here. It's like an orangey. It's the same color I used over here. I'm going to use that up here for the base of that yellow. I'm going to use that back here too. I do have some lovely oranges that I can get for this that are very high key. What I'm liking is that even though this is a very high key cool palette, I'm getting some lovely warm color notes in here, aren't I? Isn't that nice? So see guys, you're learning right along with me. Like this is all new to me too. New palette. It's like a new toy. Alright, so this is yellow and orange I'm mixing. Already I can see is that orange is more intense. So I'm going to take out some of that orange. And I'm going to put some of this up here. I just picked these flowers this morning. Already a couple of them are starting to fade. Most of them are like shrub-like, but then others are, I have a lot of lavender out there. It grows wild in my yard. So I always have a crazy amount of lavender. Alright, I can fuss about those later. Right now I'm just, again, just getting color notes, but you can see how this is starting to develop, dark and light, and yeah, this is looking good. Clear a little space. I have a huge palette here, but I'm only using part of it because I can't reach over for our purposes. I am seeing some pops back here. lighter notes. If you like what I'm doing here and you want to learn more about how I paint and why I paint and all that stuff, I am a Mastrius mentor, and you're welcome to join my group. That's Mastrius, Mastrius. And I'll put the link in my bio. We meet monthly. There is homework involved, won't lie, but it's all good stuff because we'll work with a very small group. You'll have other people just like you who are wanting a challenge, want to make their paintings bolder and stronger and less fuss. All right. Want to make sure I leave some spots for the flowers, right? All right. I think I'm ready to put in white. So when I look at that white, looking at the darks and lights of it, it's really, I'm seeing more gray than anything. And if I want my yellows to really pop, I don't want those to be too strong. So when I squint down, I'm gonna see more of a gray. So I'm gonna take my blue and pink here. Still using the intense pink. I want to get a really nice little lavender going. Maybe a little bit lighter than that. A couple different values, I suppose. Won't hurt. There you go. There. Okay. Now, let's see here. Oh, I like that. Yeah, that'll work. A little bit lighter there. What are these called? Nasturtiums? Impatiens? I don't know my flowers. I just know how they look in my garden. a little yellow on that to give that pop. A heavier paint will always make your lights look lighter. All right, one down. There's a couple of fizzled out ones here. I'll put those in just little like that. Let's see, we have one up here. You know, you can always move these things around too. You just want to get a good painting. So you can put the flowers wherever you think they need to be. For those of you who are familiar with my work, I paint a lot of meters, like electrical boxes and stuff, and people think it's about the electrical boxes, and it's really about the design choice. They make really interesting designs. It's all about the design for me. That's what I like. So this color notes. Yeah, I like that. One of the nice things about this tool is you can do wax on, wax off, which is actually how I got started doing this, is using these tools, is by doing cold wax. This would be a good subject for cold wax actually, because you could do lots of layers. So again, first time using this paint, I'm really impressed. Goes on so nice. Goes on exactly where I want it to go, and it's buttery. And I might become a Charvan convert. Put more yellow paint out. Okay, let's see. I have this white area here. These cats don't go on too easily though. I'm not happy with that. Spend all my time doing cats. Alright, so let's take that orange. Almost use that right out of the tube, but I'm going to put the green and the orange together. It just, you know, knocks it down a little bit. Sometimes that intensity is really cool, and other times it's, when I say cool, I mean it's like exciting kind of cool, not like temperature cool. What do I want to do next? in some more whites. Let's see, make some more purple here. Impatiens, I'm pretty sure they're impatiens. I'm going to go a little bit pinker here. Maybe a little bit. Again, I'm squinting, I'm not looking at every little petal. I'm just trying to get those basic shapes, patterns, movement, that sort of thing. Green. So I just put a little bit of green in that lavender mixture I had. Gives me a nice gray. Lovely grays. You know, sometimes a gray could be flat and dull, and other times a gray could be that thing that makes your colors pop, that has its own gift. So I'm just kind of catching the edges of the white there. I'm going to put a little bit more of that gray. Some of that green. Just lovely grays. If nothing else, I would probably buy this palette just to make the grays. They're just so beautiful. And over here too. Yummy. Nemo-nums. All right. So this is where I have this grass. I don't know what kind of grass it is. It's an ornamental grass though, and it gives me these beautiful, sweet little flowers. I like I said, I have no idea what kind of grass it is, but man, I love it. Just love it. So I'm mixing the orange and the green again. Putting some of these maybe back here. So I have no flowers like right in here. And I could either foreshorten, which is kind of what I'm seeing, foreshorten some of the greens and pull them forward, or I can put something there. I have these little orange flowers. Maybe I'll do a combination of the two. That might work too, huh? Right value there. I don't do a whole lot of still lifes, but I really enjoy them. I like doing flowers. really done anything over here. I have I'm not sure what I want to put there. Put these little sweet flowers here. Sometimes if I don't know what to do, I'll go somewhere else. Work somewhere else until I figure out what I want to do. When I come back to that space, sometimes it's revealed to me what I need to do. All right, I haven't done anything with the lavender. So let's put some lavender in. Let's see, there's some lavender. Spurt right there. One there. It's pretty against that purple background, the blue purple. Blue lavender, lavender blue, whatever we want to call it. I don't have them there, but I could put white. Let's see if I don't have anything there at all. I do kind of like what's there. So why don't I just play that up? It'll just be some other kind of flower. Not for my garden. It'll just be our dirty little secret, right? I kind of like that color. Looks really pretty there. I don't think we really care what it is. We just want to see the pretty. A little bit of that back here. So that's using this, what is this called? Emerald green and white. On my usual palette, I usually have phthalo green. So this is kind of acting the same way I would use my phthalo green, which I think will look beautiful in the sky. I'm already visualizing that happening. Let's see. Oh, lovely. Yeah, I think this is coming along well. Okay, let's see. I just had a battery warning and I thought this was plugged in. Let me double check and make sure we're all plugged in here. Sorry, that's my hand. Everybody's plugged in. I don't know what it's talking about. Whoop, there you go. Yeah. Make sure it's plugged into the wall, right? I didn't move things around earlier. All right, well, we'll see. We're just about done anyway. We're about an hour in, and that's probably about all I want to spend on this anyway. I'll just finish it up later and post it. Let's see. I haven't done anything over here either. So let's see. I'm gonna get some of these areas worked out. so now I need to get a little bit of this color in here, don't I? To read properly. Let's do that. And I want to get a little bit of that gray color in here too, from the background. Where is that? Well, I could probably just mix this. I'm not going to put every single stem in there. A, they're not important. B, everybody really wants to look at them. All right. done, friends. Almost done. It's nice when you kind of put a little bit of a time restraint on yourself. You know, it really does make a difference. It's such a good exercise. I highly recommend it. If you're not used to working quickly, it will definitely get you into that mode of not spending too much time on details, like you just kind of move to the next thing, you know, and you can always come back if you have extra time, but you'll be surprised at how much you're just going to leave alone, that you're actually quite satisfied with things the way they are. It's like you think you have to do stuff, but you really don't. Sometimes the more messy it is, the better it is. I actually like to go in and mess them up when I'm all done. I would argue that's like the best part sometimes. I'm going to warm up that shadow a little bit. I'm going to put some little bits of shadow over here too. Let's see here. I've got some little bit of reflective light right there. And some intense oranges going in there. Get a couple of those. I like that a little bit. very gently. Get some baby blue in there. A little bit of that little grass flower back there. So I think at the end of the day, captured the feeling of it. Get a little glare on that. Right, so this is the part where I like to go in and kind of mess things up a little bit. Sometimes I mess them up a lot, depending. pink and blue right here. Sometimes I just put things in just because. Blue on that. And that was an accident, but I like it. Pull these out a little bit. A little bit more over here. Sometimes I like to mix it like right on the surface. All right, friends. I think we're just about done with this. I don't know what else I'd want to say. Starting to get a little messy here. Actually, I'm starting to get a lot messy in here, I guess. All right, and then the only thing I would like to do, got a little glare going here, so excuse me for messing with that a little bit. I think I want to get some of the cerulean blue. I'm not sure I know why. And I want to get a little bit more of the yellow. Let's see, yellow. Ooh, that was a lot of yellow. I want to use this cerulean, almost out of the tube. I'm going to take a little bit of that lavender that's there. I'm just feeling like I need cerulean. Some pops of cerulean. So the pops of cerulean. It's more of a temperature thing than anything. A little bit more of that up there, like that. This is that green gray that I had left over when I was doing my charts. That'll be this color right here. what I said earlier, it's not always exactly about what you see. It's about making design choices. What's going to make a good painting? It's not about what you see. If you want to have a good painting, sometimes you have to do things that just are kind of, it feels very counterintuitive. Or, like dishonest, but it's really not. It's just, you want to make a good painting. It's still an honest painting. It's better. I like to look at my edges. Not really happy with that foreground color. I like the gray, but I think I want more something to it. Let's try pink. lines underneath there that's coming through, which I don't necessarily mind. It's just kind of brown looking. Brown. Is that really crooked, or is that me? I did it again. I am like so challenged with straight lines. So I'm going to get right in your view there. See if I can straighten this out a little bit. So sorry, my friends, I cannot paint a straight line to save my life. So bad at straight lines. Still kind of tilted this way. There it is. That tilt. My eye doctor said it's because I have a wrinkled eyeball. But if that's the case, I've had a wrinkled eyeball my entire life because I've never been able to draw straight lines. Never. So when people say, I can't even draw a straight line, I just laugh. Yeah, well, welcome to my world. I can't either. Okay, friends. I'm gonna see if I can dismantle this iPad, or at least bring it closer without taking everything apart. I would zoom, but I don't know how to. Let's see, I'm not holding that very straight. Oh, here you go. I think that's, there you go. Ah, yeah. Okay, that's it. Thanks for watching.